12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
And we begin tonight with a story that you'll only see on 12 News. We're getting an inside look at how a tribe is restoring a Mecca for hikers around the world. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Caribe Divine.
I'm Mark Curtis. 2 months ago, an explosive flash flood in the Grand Canyon took the life of an Arizona hiker and left many others stranded. Tonight, we're getting our first look at how the area is recovering.
12 News journalist Bram Bresnick takes us on his hike to the remote Havasupai Nation.
The flash flood roared through the Grand Canyon.
It went from beautiful to scary in about 45 minutes.
A hiker from Gilbert was swept away. More than 100 people had to be evacuated last August from the Havasupai Reservation.
Because the flood, through here, it went through the main road and it went into the people's houses that weren't high.
2 months later, the swollen, muddy creek is a gentle, clear stream.
Yeah, we'll get back over there.
Signs of the flooding do remain, but the tribal reservation is once again open to tourists from around the world. That includes a group of journalists on the campaign trail with Congressman and Democratic Senate candidate Ruben Gallego.
Going into a safe Democratic stronghold.
Yes, yeah.
You know how many votes Joe Biden got here?
Probably a couple hundred.
50.
There you go. Well, maybe we'll get 51.
Gallego's hike to the tribal village of Supai follows through on his pledge to visit all 22 of Arizona's
20.
tribal nations.
Where are we at? 20, yeah.
The Havasupai Reservation is the 20th and one of the most remote in the entire country. Travelers are familiar with the drive to Grand Canyon National Park near Tucson, but the Wallapai Hilltop trailhead that leads to the village of Supai is a 3-hour drive west of that main canyon entrance. And there are just 3 ways to reach the village: by helicopter, by mule, or on foot, like we did, hiking 8 miles down through the bottom of the canyon.
We're taking this hike for 50 votes.
Well, you know, they deserve to be heard.
On Indigenous Peoples Day, a new reason to celebrate.
We like to experience the hike because they need to understand where we live, how we live, and how to access this area. It's pretty hard.
The tribe has repaired the 8-mile trail to Supai.
On the trails where you guys hiked in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole part was wiped out.
Campgrounds in this hiker haven are open again, and the sacred waterfalls that lure the hikers have cleared up. Once again, they're the stunning blue-green that gives the Havasupai tribe its name. In the village of Supai, Bram Resnick, 12 News.
Oh, it truly is stunning geography there. Well, Bram will continue his reporting this Sunday, telling us why members of the Havasupai tribe believe that their very existence is threatened by a uranium mine near the Grand Canyon. We'll have that story. It will air on Sunday night, right after 12 Sports Locker Room.
Well, now to your weather impact forecast as things are finally starting to cool down in the valley. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley joins us now, and after 21 straight days, Linz, of record heat, the streak finally came to an end today.
It sure did, and finally double-digit highs. It was 99 today, still very close to triple-digit territory, but the rest of the week, temperatures will be sliding, and by the weekend, we're talking highs in the 70s. Here's the outlook for the next 7 days. Still quite warm tomorrow, reaching 97, down to 92 Thursday. Rain chances going up on Friday, and that's why we're going to be seeing a pretty big dip in our temps. 70s Friday, Saturday, but we're right back up to 90s as we head into next week. So a bit of a roller coaster ride. And then up in Flagstaff, we're also feeling that chill Friday and Saturday with a high of just 45. Morning lows there will be in the 20s. We're also talking our first snowfall for parts of the high country. It will start off as rain. Here in Phoenix, best chance to get wet is going to be on Friday. The weather system then clears out for the weekend, but up in the high country, some of that moisture is going to linger into Saturday before clearing out for Sunday. We'll have a timetable coming up in my full forecast. Caribe.
All right, we'll see you then, Lindsay. Thank you. Now to Glendale, where police are investigating the discovery of 2 dead bodies inside of an apartment. Police responded to the Cortland Arrowhead Summit Apartments near the Loop 101 and Union Hills Drive around noon today. They were called by a family member of one of the people found dead, asking them to perform a welfare check on their loved one. When they arrived, they found the man and woman dead. While police are still investigating how they died, they say that the loss of life at such young ages is heartbreaking.
Just consider the family are the ones that encountered this. The family are the ones that saw this scene. They're the ones that reported it. It has to be, I can imagine, it has to be horrific for them. So it's just one of those things where, thank goodness, there's many services available to the public, to our community members, and to our officers.
Police say that their investigation is still in its early stages and have yet to release the names of those who died.
A Flagstaff man was sentenced to 16 years today for the death of his wife. Daniel Patichowski pled guilty to killing Kelly Patichowski and hiding her body before telling police his wife never came home after going jogging last June. After several days of searching for Kelly, Patichowski accepted a plea deal and led police to her body. At his sentencing, Patichowski apologized to Kelly's family and their 2 children. Kelly's loved ones shedding light on their troubled marriage and her desire for a divorce in the days leading up to her death.
I pray that her suffering was short-lived because she absolutely did not deserve to suffer.
I am so very, very sorry for taking Kelly away from you forever.
Restitution to Kelly's family will be decided at a later time. And once he gets out of prison, the judge ordered that he can't have any contact with the family, including their children, ever again.
New at 10, a teenager accused of murdering his aunt when he was just 14 years old sat in front of a jury today for the start of his trial. The murder happened back in 2019 at a Sun Lakes home near Chandler Heights and Alma School Road. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly listened to opening arguments and tells us what we can expect throughout the trial. Chase?
Caribe, already on the very first day, we saw photos of the crime scene and investigators talk about this case. But the very first witness to take the stand was the victim's sister and the suspect's mother.
Latrice Churchillo held back tears as she talked about her murdered sister, 42-year-old Tanya Harper, and her son, Eris Adel, accused of killing her. Back in 2019, Churchillo said everyone gathered at her home for a family reunion. Several family members, including her sister, were staying that night. She called it a family sleepover.
We were playing games, Eris played guitar. Yeah, we just did family things.
Once it started getting late, she says everyone went to bed. Then in the middle of the night, prosecutors say she woke up to see her sister bleeding from her neck and screaming for help.
Tanya identified her killer with what would have been her last words. I think it was Aries.
Attorneys claim Adel, who was just 14 years old at the time, waited until everyone fell asleep, then grabbed a knife and stabbed his aunt while she was sleeping on the couch. Attorneys also say Adel took measures to prevent his aunt and family from getting help by cutting the phone lines in the home. Adel was arrested within 24 hours of sheriff's deputies being called to the scene, finding the knife believed to be used in the murder hidden in his closet. Adel is charged with first-degree premeditated murder. But the prosecution said we may never know the motive behind this, which is what Adel's attorney is using as a defense in this trial.
You will never get an answer.
The defense claims the suspect saw his aunt as a mentor and best friend. They don't deny that Adel killed his aunt, and they anticipate the jury will find him guilty, but argue it shouldn't be for first-degree premeditated murder, but a lesser charge.
But you will have other options.
Adel is facing life in prison if found guilty. The trial will resume tomorrow morning. We're live in the studio. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. Well, it is hard to believe, but it's been almost a year since 16-year-old Preston Lord was beat to death at a Halloween party in Queen Creek.
The 16-year-old's death sent shockwaves all across the state, raising awareness about teen violence and how bad the problem was. 7 suspects, ranging in age from 17 to 20, are facing charges, with a trial tentatively set for next summer. As we approach 1 year since the attack, 12 News journalist Bianca Bono sat down with Queen Creek's chief of police today and asked him what he would say to community members who feel like it took too long to arrest the suspects.
While the detectives had a really good idea of what happened, pretty much right after the event happened. It takes more than just our supposition or our thoughts on the case. We have to have actual evidence that would help support that in the prosecutorial phase. I hope when people look back and understand the scope of what we had to deal with, 2 months was lightning speed.
You can watch Bianca's full interview with the chief on 12+. Meanwhile, on October 28th, the one-year anniversary of Lord's death, there'll be a Light the Night memorial at Frontier Family Park in Queen Creek in his honor.